Okay, we're in round one. We're going to play first. This is definitely a good hand. So we can go Tormenting Voice on turn 2. And we don't know what we're discarding yet, but it's probably just a land. Okay, so we go Tormenting Voice, ditch a land. Very good. Okay. So next turn we can hold up, reduce, and cancel, which is nice. Looking like a good control plan at the moment. So we definitely want to just get the reduce in there as soon as possible, right? So we'll reduce that because we're going to play Naga Oracle next turn. And we don't want them to ramp anyway or fix, so we'll counter it. Hieroglyphic Illumination. So let's just play Naga Oracle now. Look at the top 3. Dig in for that Sphinx. Or, okay. So putting a number of these cards into your graveyard. Click card to put it in your graveyard. Great. So we'll put the 2 mountains in our graveyard. And we'll leave the Javelineer on top. That's perfectly fine. It can nuke for 2 right now, which is good. Okay, our opponent has returned. They were gone for a little bit. They play an Initiate. We are tapped out, so we can't do anything about that. We'll untap. Get a Javelineer, which can nuke the Initiator here. Probably worth it. Yeah. Because then we can attack and we'll have another attacker. It seems good to me. So we'll play the Javelineer. We'll nuke that little fella for 2. And we'll get in for 2. So now I've got 2 beaters on board. Our hand is phenomenal. 4 instants, which is just the perfect kind of card to have when you have... I mean, we have everything. We have card advantage, bounce draw, kill things, counter anything. So it's like, what more can you ask for? Okay, Naga Oracle of their own. Thankfully, we can still attack into it. We're not going to use Electrify on it, at least not yet. So they're putting some Embalm stuff in there. Getting some extra graveyard value. And a Cycler. And a Seeker of Insight. Okay. Sounds good. Seems good, one could say. Alright. So we got our land, which is nice. So let's go ahead and bash in and pass the turn. Leave up all of our shenanigans. And we'll pass. Well, if they play something huge, we can cancel it. We have that luxury. Embalm away, my friend. Not worried about that. Alright. So we're going to hieroglyphic illumination to draw some cards. There's our Enigma Drake, what we were looking for. Very good, very good. Okay. So we can't cancel now if we play the Drake. So we could be patient and wait a bit longer. We can also rubble, I guess, if I want those lands to not untap. But I can't do both, because I suppose we need the extra red for that. I can attack with both of my guys, and then if they double block something, I can electrify the Oracle and just take out the Skirmisher. It's not great, though. Yeah, it might be better to just play the Drake and pass. It leaves us without cancel for a turn, but it also gives us like our main win con, so we'll just play the Drake and pass. We have Gale Strike if a big fatty comes out that we can't deal with. We also have decision paralysis, so we've got some options. Can I? Yeah, I can Gale Strike and return my own Enigma Drake, so that's fine too. Channeler Initiate. Okay, we don't need to immediately deal with that. We're okay. And they are doing it on themselves, so they can ramp, I suppose, with it. We're still in great shape, by the way. Okay. So we can play the Cryptic Serpent, which is pretty enormous right now. I think we do that. My other option is to attack with Enigma Drake, leave up Gale Strike to bounce my own dude. But let's just put out a huge fatty, right? Only cost me 4 mana, too. It's pretty sweet. So now they have to deal with the Serpent. Otherwise, suffer some consequences here. Okay. Naga Oracle number 2. A Cheetah, an Essence Scatter, and then 1 card on top. Just forgot what happened to the chat window here. Yep, they put 1 card on top. So we've got some good plays we can do here. They do have 4 mana up. Pull from tomorrow as well, nice. So we can attack with our Serpent and our Drake. We can basically attack with everything because we're ahead. And then however they block the Serpent, we'll just electrify it. Or we can Decision Paralysis on their turn. This plays around like a buff spell, but they only have 2 cards in hand. I don't think it's super likely they have the buff. I think we're going to we're actually going to attack with the Drake too, just in case I am able to Gale Strike it if my opponent doesn't block correctly, basically. Sure, and this is fine as well. So we'll take out the thing that we can and we'll get in our 6 damage. So I can actually Gale Strike now. And the only reason to do that would be... I don't think that we do, though. I think we're fine. We'll just pass. We have cancel. We've got so many options here. Like, I can still Gale Strike, but I was thinking if I draw a land, I'm able to play it and replay the Drake, which is pretty strong, but I'd rather just leave up cancel. Or just pull from tomorrow. River Serpent. I mean, I guess I might as well cancel that. So this can become a 2/3, which is important. But we have Fling too, so we are getting there. Okay, so now we have our 6th land. We can just go... Yeah, I think we just go Decision Paralysis. Because we might just kill them here. With the Fling. They're floating a blue, but we're going to combat step anyway, so they'll have to lose it. Alright. Okay, so we get to kill him. We'll just fling at him right now. Okay. So got our opponent game 1 here pretty effectively. Our opponent is playing blue-green. Not exactly sure what the synergies are yet, right? It looks like an Embalm deck. We've got the Oracles. We've seen some Embalm dudes. So there's some value to be had from for our opponent there. Our plan just worked really amazingly well. That was awesome. No Bomby creatures are bringing the wrappings for... this does let us blow up the... This is actually pretty good. This lets us blow up a Paradise's Gift land, and they're splashing too. Violent Impact might just be worth it now that I think about it. What would I run it over, though? We can run it over the Reduce to Rubble, because countering, especially on the draw, is probably less effective, and I'd rather just have the hard counter of cancel. So I'm kind of fine with that. Swap a spell for a spell, get one that can deal with a couple things. The splash land, or just a Paradise's Gift land, which is useful, or we can just cycle it. So, alright, I'm kind of okay with that swap, actually. And then the rest, I think, is history, as they say. Yeah, we're good. I think we're good after that. So, run it back. We're going to keep this hand. It needs some help, but we're on the draw. And we have the card draw of Illumination if we need it. And potentially this Javelineer, which can do some work. Our opponent also multi 5, which helps, especially on the play. And they're keeping at 5. Enigma Drake, obviously a great draw. Does that mean we want to cycle the Illumination? I think the answer is actually no. Because we want to play Enigma Drake and then play Illumination. We may actually we just want as much card advantage as we can get. We're not in a rush here. That's pretty sexy, though, admittedly. All right. I may just go Drake into Drake and then play the Illumination. Or I can actually cycle the Illumination. I mean, I do have that luxury now. Yeah, I guess because we're going to be... I guess we don't have to, though, right? The reason we don't have to is... Okay, so the reason we don't have to is we can play the Drake now, and then next turn we can still play Drake plus cycle Illumination. But if I draw something else I might want to do, I could still potentially cast it later. I don't know, it's a little bit difficult. I never know if I don't know if I'm supposed to draw 2 or cycle it. But I mean, I'd rather have 2 cards, so is it I'm going to be able to have 4 mana up and get that extra card at some point? I probably, right? Because my opponent is... I think we can block. Okay. That's not a huge deal. I guess it's a little bit of a big deal, but not really. I think we're still okay with that. There's a Seeker of Insight. So we can go Drake here and then leave up the Illumination. It also lets us... Yeah, it doesn't quite let us play the Serpent next turn. All the stinging shots? I'm still going to block. Okay. So our opponent's got some good ramp going for themselves right now. But we're going to definitely cycle the Illumination now. Because then I can Javelin near the Initiate. Yeah, that makes sense. Alright, that's alright. So we'll do this. We'll kill the Initiate. Get in for one. Next turn we get the Serpent. Paying 6 mana. And it's still good enough. Okay. After that we can... I don't know why my opponent flashed that. Oh, they're worried about the counter, I imagine. I guess that makes sense. So, let's get in there. Certainly fine with that trade. Javelineer did its job. All right, let's get the Serpent down and pass. Now they have one less chump block or thing that can trade with it as well. All right, they've decided to concede, but understandable. They definitely had some mana issues there. I'm thinking since they had the Ramper plus they had the double 2-drop Ramper, they must have gone like 16, maybe 15 lands with all the cyclers. Because they did, I mean, it's possible they just ran 17 and got super unlucky, but our deck is a lot of fun. I mean, granted, they mulled a 5 there, but we did whoop up on them hard in game 1. So hopefully we can keep this dream going. Yeah, blue-red so far, very fun. Triple Enigma Drake's got to be pretty unusual, too. They're uncommon, so pretty cool. All right, we'll see you round 2.